Ready when you are. Kathy holds her microphone in front of her, ensuring it's low, below her chin, as she speaks crisply. In the Western world, education is the norm. No child grows up without the ability to read and write. But for the majority of children born on our humble old planet, this is not the case. For most, education is a luxury their parents cannot afford. Officer Davies doesn't pay any attention to the news crew. He has his hands full, keeping impatient pedestrians and irritated drivers apart. From where he stands in the center of the intersection, the cracks are not noticeable, but he notices the cars driving down toward Queensboro shudder slightly as they leave the intersection. It is as though they are driving over a bump in the road, a speed hump, or trash fallen from a trailer. Davies doesn't think too much about it, but the cars turning west seem to ride up over a lip in the concrete road about the same distance away from him. It is as though they are riding over the edge of a low curb. Strange, he thinks. The road didn't seem that bad when he drove in. "How much longer?" Davies yells, calling out to the electricians working on the lights. "It's not looking good," is the reply. "We just lost all power." The earth shakes. The U.S. Foreign Missions building on the corner of the intersection groans. Panes of glass fall, shattering on the street below. The sound of bending, twisting, grinding metal fills the air. Davies staggers, fighting to stay on his feet. Pedestrians run for cover. A group of school children on the forecourt of the UN collapse to the ground, screaming in fear. Several cars rear-end each other in the confusion. Kathy stumbles backwards, but Finch retains his presence of mind. He knows what to do. He swings his camera around, catching the vision of entire sheets of glass falling, and then shattering into a million pieces as they strike the pavement. "What the hell was that?" Kathy cries, crouching low to the ground. "A bomb?" Finch is cool under fire. 2 tours of Afghanistan have steadied his nerves. "Nah," he replies. Kathy watches him panning with the camera, knowing the feed is being streamed live back to the studio. The footage probably won't be used immediately, but the producer will have it by now, and hopefully, she's monitoring the feed. "There's been no compression wave," Finch says, staying behind the lens. "If this was a bomb, we would have been blown off our feet. And there's no wreckage, no debris, no smoke. I think sweet little old New York just had herself an earthquake." Officer Davies steadies himself in the middle of the intersection. The earthquake passes as quickly as it came. Davies gets on the radio, raising a priority call for medics and more police. Several pedestrians lie on the shattered glass, covered in rich, scarlet-red blood. Finch turns the camera on the State Department building. He focuses in on a gash running up the side of the building in an arc. Rather than being jagged, it's smooth, stretching in a curve. "I don't think this was an earthquake," Kathy says, standing beside him. "Why?" Finch asks, his head still buried behind the camera as he zooms in on the police officer attending to injured bystanders. The officer herds people away from the shattered building. Several well-dressed businessmen abandon their cars, helping the injured, dragging them off the pavement immediately below the building and out onto the road, away from falling debris. "Zoom out," Kathy says, seeing his preoccupation with the injured. Finch pulls back on the zoom, taking in the U.S. State Department building on the far side of the intersection. The damage to the building is cut in a half circle, starting at the 3rd floor and slicing around the side of the building, and then up in an arc, reaching toward the rear of the building before curving forward and exiting out the front, just a few floors below the roof. Kathy mumbles, talking to herself more than Finch. "Looks like a bite."